Well, so this is my black powder revolver as it stands. I've started doing some mods. The sights are pretty cool. That's a XS Big Dot, and I modded the hammer to be kind of a big notch for it to sit in. I don't know if we can see that on camera or not. It's pretty dope. I'm calling this gun the Hand of Crom, like the Hand of God from 410 to Yuma. I dig that movie, and I wanted a black powder gun with mods and shit, and I don't know. I saw this thing for $350 on sale at Dong's Sporting Goods. That's, you know, where you go to buy such things, right? And I wanted something that was more resupplyable than a normal gun. This is kind of like my prepper gun or whatever. Like, this thing I kind of figure I can get 45 ACP reloads for forever around here. But in the event that things go worse than that, that's what this is for. And like, these are my guns for the new American West or whatever. So like, this is legitimately a gun I plan on shooting and using and carrying and whatever. And it's kind of set up as a, you know, close-up defensive gun. That's the sights that are on it now are, you know, shooting at a human being inside of 25 yards sights. Probably even closer than that, probably more like inside of 15 yards. And that's not for everybody. I'm playing with this and seeing what I like. I have a holster on the way for this that's a left-hand draw to go, you know, with the holster for the 1911 being on the right side. And it's a CSA holster. Because why not? That's kind of where I'm at with these. Is like, these are, you know, my set of cowboy guns. So there's no rules with these. These are like my Star Wars blasters. I think they make a pretty good set of fucking guns though. Because you got like World War III over here, and you got like American Civil War 2.0 over here, right? Like, those are your two most likely scenarios. The thing I like about old American Civil War 2.0 over here is you can cast 44 caliber balls out of a lot of shit. A lot more than just lead. Anything copper, bronze, brass can be made into projectiles for this gun. That's handy. You can make your own percussion caps. That's really not that hard. And you can actually make your own powder too, and that's really not that hard either. And I plan on getting the tools and some of the materials to do all of that, and kind of writing a little booklet to go with it. And like, I'm gonna pack this gun away with all that shit. Because like, in my mind, if you have the tools and all you need is like carbon, sulfur, saltpeter, and lead, and fulminated mercury, or mercury fulminate, like, that's pretty dope. You're a wizard at that point. You can turn fucking like a bunch of chemicals into shooting things. That's cool. That's why I have this gun. And if you can't see the upside of that, I'm sorry. There's people that bitch about the fact that I made videos on how I love the 1911. And, you know, get ready, because like, the fucking black powder revolver makes the 1911 look modern. Was it a good, probably a good 80 years or so between the technology of these two. Less if you count this from when it is, but they started playing with this kind of idea in the 1830s. The other gun I have is the M17 Flux Raider. That would be a really interesting trio. That's kind of what I'm planning on packing around at the end of the world, is like, you know, you have these guns for like style points or whatever, and then you have it to actually do shit with. Although I think if you did score a cap and ball kill in World War III or American Civil War 2.0, that just makes you like particularly badass, you know. Other mods I did on this, the finish is a big change, right? Like from where it was. All that is I dumped black powder all over this and lit it on fire 2 or 3 times and just left it, and then put oil on it and then dried it off, and then put oil on it and then dried it off, and then put oil on it and then dried it off, you know, and kind of did that for a while. And then I hit it with cold blue. And when you do that, all of the patina that was formed from doing that black powder shit keeps the cold blue from taking. So that's how you do that. It gives you a really cool old rustic finish. If you want a better blued finish, don't do all the rust shit to it. But I wanted a gun that like was in the process of seeing some shit. That, and like this is a finish that I could just not care about. If you look up here, you can particularly see what I'm talking about, where like it's patina, not really blue. I think that's dope. But sorry, there's like something weird making a noise. The brass, if you really want to make the brass look cool, take it separate and put a bunch of black powder residue on it and just leave it. Like let it corrode. The black powder residue stuff turns brass this funky color of brass that, like, if you ever see like an 1866 Winchester at a big gun show or a Henry, they have this look to the brass receiver that you're like, how do they get the brass that color? That's what happens when you put black powder on it and don't take care of it. Okay, so like a lot of the things when you're like, oh, how did you get this thing to look so cool? The answer is black powder, water, oil, and cold blue. And the grips, I did that with a forge. Like you could do it with a blowtorch too, but I fire blackened them and then soaked them in beeswax. The sight on this. This is a XS Big Dot for a shotgun. I bought the one for the Mossberg, and then I sanded it to where it would fit this gun with a 2x72 belt sander, and I put it on. We haven't zeroed this yet. I will be interested to see where this shoots. I have lots of wiggle room in the notch on that rear sight to play with. The front sight just kind of is what it is, and I kind of figure I'll see where it's shooting and shoot accordingly. Like, I'm hoping it shoots somewhat to point of aim, but like that's just kind of like the nature of the beast with a gun like this. Is back in the day they put the sights on, they just made sure it was straight, and then once it was straight, you know, you go and shoot the gun and see what straight has in relation to where the bullets hit. And like, if you're making 10 million guns, you just make them to where they all shoot to point of aim, because, you know, you figure that shit out in the first dozen. When you're making one, it's a little harder. I really dig this engraved model from Pieta. You can get these from Bud K. This is not an expensive gun. I shot the thing dry firing until it broke and then fixed it. I'm about to swap the nipples for stainless nipples. And I've already fixed the hammer from all that dry firing. And a few other things. Like, the main thing that broke was the, what do they call that? It's a spring that works the hammer stop and the trigger. I replaced it with a round spring. It was a bullshit flat spring from, like, I don't know. It looked like it was from the 1860s, but this gun is made in 2020, so who knows? Thanks, Italy. But the spring for this, if you want to replace any of the springs in a black powder revolver, go to Wolf Springs and look up the Colt Single Action Army. Those are all the same springs. And you're like, no, they're not. Well, the back ass end of this gun is a Colt Single Action Army, because this is the Navy grip even. If it had the Army grip, then you're going to need a different mainspring, I guess, or hammer spring, but you can work that out. This is, in short, why I wanted one that had this grip on it as opposed to the Army grip. First off, I think it's a better grip. Second off, parts. And then third, I'm not the only one that thinks this is a better grip. Colt put this grip, not the Army grip, on their later guns. I like the Colt 1851 Navy because it's Wild Bill Hickok's gun. I like this one because it's in .44 caliber. And they never made the Navy in a .44. So technically this is like an Army-Navy fusion kind of thing. It also has a fluted cylinder, which I think is cool. I think the U.S. Marshal engraving package, or whatever they call this that they're doing on it, it looks good. Why not? I like a fancy gun, especially when I'm going to treat it like shit, which I have. And like, that's half of the thing to this for me, is like, I don't want my black powder revolver to look good or like look new. Like, I want it to look like this. I want it to look rode hard and put away wet. Like, this gun has a lot of fucking character to it. This is one of those, like, you can go buy a billion fucking brand new looking black powder revolvers. You can't get this. I've spent the last, like, 3 months making this look like this. I really would love to do this for people if I could figure out how to, like, justify charging a ass ton of money for it. So that's half of my thing, really, is like, you should just go do this yourself. If you like these kind of guns and you like the way this looks, you could go spend like $100 on bullshit, chemicals and some tools and sandpaper and yada yada. There'd be a small list of shit, but like $100 worth of shit, and you could do this to a bunch of guns. You could do this to every fucking gun you own. Maybe I should put together a video on that, on how to antique a gun. In general, if you really want to antique a gun, treat it like crap. I'm curious to see what you guys think of my sight mod. I really dig it. I like XS big dots though, and I think I tagged XS sights in this on Instagram, so that would be cool to see if they repost it or some shit, because like, there can't be too many people who put fucking XS big dots on a fucking revolver. I mean, a black powder revolver. Well, this is officially now one of my favorite guns just because it's fucking beautiful. And look at that shit. I know it's just like different colors of rust, but this is what I like in guns, in case you can't tell. Like, I like blued guns with wear on them and fucking all sorts of bullshit. I'll see you guys later. Tell me what you think. Is this an improvement? If you want to see what this gun looked like originally, you can go look at it on Instagram. I'm about to post before and after pictures again on there. So it was a really shiny gun. I'll see you guys later.